Alright, we got Nat Voltaic, which was has been a little bit, but not. And it's actually very not too long ago. I think it only feels like a little bit because we took a while to get through the 2700s. But Nat Voltaic, the last one we have from Nat Voltaic was 2742, which is the purple eel-like creature that changes, that eats all reality, and changes around it as well. Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Alright, Nat Voltaic. Let's see here. A lunar true vacuum. Ooh, got some new colors here. Look at that. Ad astra per aspera. Another ketter. 2 ketters in a row. Amida, disruption class Amida, and then risk class critical. SCP-2821 must be monitored on constant basis for any changes in behavior and size. Geiger counters and cameras are to be aligned throughout the chamber, with 2 Minkowski space-time monitors set up within a 0.5 kilometer distance around SCP-2821's chamber. The tunnel leading from Lunar Area 32 to SCP-2821 is to be maintained and routinely checked for radiation. 2 airlocks coated with lead foil are placed at the entrance of the tunnel and the midway point of it to prevent contamination of Lunar Area 32 from gamma rays and decaying isotopes. The cover above the hole from the lunar surface to SCP-2821's chamber should resemble the lunar landscape to reduce the risk of discovery from cameras. This cover should be made of heat-absorbing materials to match the temperature of the surrounding surface. Transmission of any sort from SCP-2821 must be reported to Level 4/2821 researchers immediately, along with any possible signs of communication. Non-Foundation personnel that detect these transmissions will be interrogated and administered amnestics. Description: SCP-2821 is a spherical spatial anomaly theorized to be a true vacuum, located 1.25 kilometers from Lunar Area 32 in a spherical cavern within a diameter of 0.9 kilometers. Oh god, that's a bit, that's... we had an SCP yesterday with 19 footnotes, but I don't think I ever had an SCP that had a footnote with an image in it. According to quantum field theory, a vacuum refers to space with as little energy as possible in it. As quantum fields still exist, by removing as much energy as possible creates a false vacuum, which does not have the global possible minimum of energy. The global minimum of energy would be a true vacuum, though there would be a barrier for, to reaching such a state. This makes a false vacuum metastable, as it could get past the barrier and fall to the lowest energy levels if certain energy requirements were met. It is theorized that our universe exists as long-lived false vacuum on the border of stability based on the mass of the top quark and Higgs boson and an extension of the Higgs field which gives particles interacting with its mass. If an event such as quantum tunneling occurs with the Higgs field, where the particles could tunnel past a barrier, the results of the Higgs field reaching the lowest energy level would create a true vacuum. A true vacuum would be a bubble expanding in all directions at the speed of light, destroying anything that comes into contact with it. The inside of the true vacuum would operate under entirely different laws of chemistry and physics than the universe. In short, a true vacuum is a region of space at the lowest possible energy level, expanding at the speed of light. That region would operate under different laws of chemistry and physics, leading to the construction of anything entering it. And here we have a diagram representing general metastability. In this scenario, 1 representation the Higgs field in the false vacuum, 2 represents the field on the verge of transition, and 3 represents the Higgs field in a newly formed true vacuum. At this point, the field would have the lowest potential energy. I don't actually think I've seen a long footnote. There was a lot of footnotes yesterday, like damn, wait, no, there was. I once SCP that was basically the whole document was footnotes. Are there SCPs with no footnote? Yeah. We read a bunch of them. You are there when we read SCPs without footnotes. The size of SCP-2821 changes erratically at the speed of light, though it currently has a diameter of 0.55 kilometers. Any objects entering SB2821 will become subject to the current laws of physics within the anomaly, which changes at random intervals, often causing the destruction of said object. Is there another one? Okay. I love how we went from this footnote to this. The longest lasting and most important ones are detailed in Addendum 1. Also, let me double check if my mic is at maximum. Maximum it is. At times, objects can be seen forming or moving around within SB2821, labeled -1 instances. Occasionally, -1 instances have left SB2821, often breaking apart into various radioactive isotopes and particles. One central entity can be seen within the anomaly labeled -2. This entity appears as a mass of rapidly flashing colors with occasional tendrils coming out of it. It has remained permanently in the center of SB2821 since its discovery. It is theorized that -2 is either the cause of the anomaly or is preventing its expansion. Occasionally, radio transmissions are detected coming from SB2821. A majority of these radio transmissions are static, though some certain speeches from an unknown individual and miscellaneous noises. The length and times at which these transmissions occur are random, though some of the content has similar themes. Investigation into this is in progress. SB2821 was discovered during tunneling from Lunar Area 32 to Lunar Area 13, which would have served as a means of transportation. I'm just going to check what happens when you pop this open. Because we're not going to read them, I think. Yeah, we're not going to read them, it's just... Oh, hey, yeah, oh my god, of course. Sorry, was I? This one. On the 13th, 4th, 2015, after digging 1.25 kilometers from Area 32, a piece of mining equipment fell into a large cavern containing SB2821. At this point, the cavern had a diameter of 0.8 kilometers, and SCP-2821's size was fluctuating at a rapid rate. During the ensuing investigation and development of containment procedures, SB2821 reached a diameter of 0.3 kilometers for a day before reaching 0.9 kilometers, creating the current cavern size and creating a hole to the lunar surface. This investigation led to the current accepted theory of this being a true vacuum. And if SB2821 were to begin expanding at this rate dictated in quantum field theory, it would lead to the VK-class reality restructuring event, with anything entering the anomaly following its new laws of physics and chemistry. An event where the universe's existing physical laws are altered to new anomalous laws. As it takes 1.3 seconds for light to travel from Earth to the Moon and vice versa, both the Moon and Earth would be destroyed before the Foundation could take a course of action. After equals to 6 hours, most of the solar system would be destroyed. Approximate 6 hours, most of the solar system would be destroyed, as the size of SB2821 changes at random. This could occur at any given time. Work on creating a suitable means of containment to prevent a VK-class event is currently in development. The leading plan, Project Heisenberg-Styriacus, involves the development of a modified Scranton reality anchor to either force SB2821 into staying at a set size or to neutralize it. I already know that. The current issues with the plan, including transportation of the device to Lunar Area 32 and the possibility of an unknown interaction between SB2821 and the device, which would cause for worsened containment or the expansion of the anomaly. Refer to the document's proposal for the proper containment of SB2821 and Project Heisenberg Styriacus overview for further information. Now we have Addendum 1. Below is a table detailing physics seen in SB2821, each designated with... Which one is this? Which one is this? Phi, okay. Or Phi, I assume. Yeah. Well, I assume it's in Greek, so Phi. If we talk, and a number. This only lists the longest lasting and important physics states. A full document of all recorded states and further information can be seen in document V1. It's crazy how Foundation workers can just live knowing their lives could end any second. I mean, That's technically true in our world too, man. Like, one of us could just walk down the street at the wrong time and something bad could happen to us. But of course, the Foundation workers have to think like, okay, but we are dealing with deadly danger all the time, like face to face. That's true. But I feel like they are probably going to be like us eventually, like where they're just like, yeah, this is how life is, and the chance of me dying is there. That's how I live life. I'm like, at the end, I know I live in places where I would not get shot at or you know, something horrible happens to me, but I could still get stabbed. I could still get hit by a car. I could still fall down the stairs and break my neck. So all that still exists for me as well. 2821 Phi 0. This designation for a majority of the physics sets seen in SCP-2821. There is not any single physics set, but refers to periods where the anomaly is rapidly changing its physics or when the physics represent any major visible effects. The most that is seen in this is occasional particles, a visual effect resembling static, and clouds of particles. These particles usually last for a few seconds or less. This state is likely what a non-anomalous true vacuum would appear like if one were to exist. Occasional radio transmissions consisting of static and are detected and coming from SCP-2821 in this set. Duration variable, okay. So it's random. Phi 2, I still don't know, Phi? Actually, how is it pronounced, huh? The pronunciation of the source of variation is most common pronunciation in English being like the letter F in flying, particularly in academic, like. So Phi, yeah, okay, Phi, okay. So I was right. It's kind of like it. I assume the Greek alphabet is more like the German than the English, where like I is not I, it's E in German. During this set, Dash 1 instances in the form of light blue rocky objects were orbiting Dash 2. A probe was sent into SCP-2821, which experienced some communication issues. It began to be pulled into orbit and was destroyed when 3 Dash 1 instances collided with the probe and destroyed it. A secondary probe equipped with thrusters that would activate 3 minutes after entering SCP-2821 around the time it enters orbit was sent into the anomaly a week later. Upon thrusters activation, the probe began to exit SCP-2821 with 2 Dash 1 instances following. These instances vanished after exiting SCP-2821, releasing large amounts of gamma radiation. Equipment on board the probe detected equals to 0.7 Gs coming from Dash 2. Was briefly in orbit. Camera footage taken shows the area outside of SCP-2821 as heavily distorted, suggesting that outside light is bent when entering the anomaly. So far, this has been the only physics set to allow for objects originating from outside of SCP-2821 to survive within the anomaly. 3 weeks. Phi 7. Initially, the set resembled Phi 2, but after an hour, all movement of the Dash 1 instances ceased. During this, sensors in the chamber detected a temperature of 0.0000001 Kelvin before malfunctioning and breaking. Objects brought into the chamber would lose momentum as it got closer to SCP-2821, gradually slowing until reaching a complete stop. This decrease in momentum was likely the result of particle movement decreasing as the temperature got colder, which stops entirely at 0 Kelvin or absolute 0. 12. It is unknown how cold SCP-2821 got during this, though it is likely the temperature reached temperatures incredibly close to 0 Kelvin. Dash 2 experienced no changes in movement or behavior. Following the end of this set, a radio transmission was detected saying, "The place outside of worlds." Translation from Nepali, and then that takes 12 hours. I want to see what. Interesting. Oh, okay, so that's so basically when we reach this part, is the end. It's just the footnote. The first footnote is just massive. Gotcha. Okay. Phi 11. Various Dash 1 instances were seen drifting through SCP-2821, resembling a variety of green, blue, and purple complex hypotrochoids and epicycloids. mathematical roulette curves typically drawn with a spirograph. Inspiration with long zoom cameras shows that these instances are also composed of smaller hypotocoids and epicyclides, possibly going down to the atomic level. It is believed that these structures are the result of atoms being able to form chemical bonds that naturally form these shapes. At times, small instances would go through gaps in larger ones and vanish. One instance exited SCP-2821 and immediately broke apart into radioactive isotopes of carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. A radio transmission of Hurrian Hymn No. 6, the oldest known melody being sung by a female voice, was detected 3 times in the set, 1 month. Phi 14 for 1 month, various -1 instances resembling nebula manifested inside SCP-2821 with bright spots similar in appearance to stars in and around them. After this month, the color of -1 instances and -2 began to become red in hue over the course of 2 months, with movement decreasing as well. At the end of these 2 months, no movement was observed, and everything in SCP-2821 was colored with various shades of red. It is feared that this was red shift caused by the speed of light decreasing in the anomaly. Redshift is an effect in physics where light coming from an object increases in wavelengths towards the red end of the spectrum, which occurs when an object is moving farther away from the viewer. Okay, that's what the character got the name from. This is caused by the light coming from an object taking longer to reach the viewer as it moves away. The opposite of this, which an object is heading towards the viewer, is known as blue shift. Ah, that's why he has a red and blue sword. Okay, gotcha. Okay. 3 months later, SCP-2821 entered another physics set, with normal coloration returning after an hour. This is believed to be the speed of light returning to its normal value. A radio transmission was detected coming from SCP-2821 at the end of the set by the Foundation radio telescopes, which showed the cosmic microwave background with a Sierpinski triangle overjoyed on it. Overlaid, not overjoyed, overlaid on it. A fractal made of equilateral triangle, 6 months. Phi 15 in the set, -2 was replaced with a black spherical object, and SCP-2821 reached a brightness of approximate 100,000 lumens per square meter. -1 instances were rapidly expelled from the spherical object, damaging equipment in the chamber and the chamber walls. The instances were twisted chunks of rock and metal along with unknown objects made of various elements of the Foundation expanded periodic table. A majority of the elements were emblanium and yakium. One chunk of metal had what resembled the insignia of the Foundation, orbital division on it, along with unknown text below it. Minkowski spacetime monitors around the anomaly detected 190 trillion G during the set. It is unknown what happened in the set, with theories including the reversal of gravity in the formation of a white hole, a hypothetical region of space-time that cannot be entered from the outside, but matter and light can leave it. Essentially the reverse of a black hole, 24 hours. Last 2 ones, Phi 17 for approximately 4 hours, SCP-2821, along with any -1 instances. I might switch chairs, man. I feel like this chair might be a little bit more comfortable over like a long period of time. Along with any -1 instances were present and -2 disappeared. Experiments performed in the space previously occupied by SCP-2821 showed no anomalous properties, suggesting that the anomaly had been neutralized at the time. After the 4 hours, SCP-2821 reappeared operating under the physics of Phi 11. It is theorized that the event was the result of SCP-2821's physics randomly becoming standard physics, though it is unknown how this could occur with its possible state as a true vacuum. This led to debate over the accuracy of this theory. Despite this event, a radio transmission was detected coming from where SCP-2821 formerly was after 3 hours, saying, "The mind numbs in that white expanse 4 hours." Phi 20. One of -2's tendrils began to extend to length beyond those which have been previously observed, forming a spiral pattern centered around -2. After expanding to the edge of SCP-2821 Foundation. Anti-cognitive hazard bots blocked footage of the rest of the event. This event is the only observed behavior of its kind from -2. A request to experiment with the footage to determine any cognitive hazardous effects is pending. 5 minutes. Addendum 2. On the 15th 9th 2016, a video transmission originating from SCP-2821 was detected. The transmission was 4 minutes long, with audio composed of static, multiple languages, and miscellaneous noises. Known languages used are Spanish, Icelandic, Yiddish, Scottish, Gaelic, Autothon, and Esperanto. Oh yeah, well, okay. Below is a mostly translated transcript of the transmission. Words that have no exact translation to English are in brackets along with any sound of unknown words. Capitalized sentences show any loud portion of the transmission. Okay, so trapped, imprisoned, there was a void. It was maddening. Horror, abomination, made dolphin whistles, stay. They built a lock and threw away the key. Whale calls, left area out of realms and back to unknown. Shattered, broken. The comrades were ensnared in the wires and bled broken. A minute of static. The home would return to this. The home returned to is in chaos. Reality ended with dolphin whistles absence. Its killer stares back at me and into my being. Unknown. Consumed and fragmented and torn asunder. Trapped, imprisoned. Guards unknown. Hounds got them and ripped their minds. The flesh was extracted and stored forever. Fix, repair, and middle static. Yesodon, the horrid name. Believed to be an organization or unofficial name for one based on text from GOY 03088, the Church of the Second Hieroglyph. And when it is slain, when the abomination, unknown, is struck down, sounds similar to construction work, order, patterns, a minute of static with random fluctuation in the volume, whale whistles, scream. Yesodon, listen, static until the end of the transmission with noises similar to that of sound waves. The sound of waves. Seems to be there's some ocean nearby with there's constantly whales and dolphins making noise, man. Oh man, dude. I think SCP-2821 is rather impressive. This is what happens when we bully a mechanic for using unique. He goes through like, I think it's rather impressive. Yes. Yes, quite. There's a lot of like effects that happen in that vacuum for sure. It's gonna be a little bit tough to make a thumbnail for that. I was also getting tired of using unique all the time as well. Gotcha. Let me close the window. There's some cold air coming in and that makes me sleepy.